morning. My name is Simon Sandoval-Moschenberg. I'm a partner at the immigration law firm. Good morning. My name is Simon Sandoval-Moschenberg. I'm a partner at the immigration law firm of Murray Osorio PLLC in Maryland, Virginia, and New Jersey, and one of the many attorneys in the legal team that's been representing Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Mr. Abrego Garcia was taken into custody by ICE this morning. As he was leaving the jail in Tennessee on Friday, he'd been given a notice requiring him to check in at 8 a.m. this morning. The notice stated that the reason was interview. Clearly that was false. There was no need for them to take him into ICE detention. He was already on electronic monitoring from the U.S. Marshal Service and basically on house arrest. The only reason that they've chosen to take him into detention is to punish him. To punish him for exercising his constitutional rights. His constitutional right to fight back against being illegally deported to El Salvador. His constitutional right to speak up through his court filings on the torture and treatment that he received in El Salvador at the direct request of our government. His constitutional right not to allow his arm to be twisted to take a guilty plea if he doesn't want to. His constitutional right to exercise his right to a jury trial on his criminal proceedings if he so chooses. And his constitutional right and his right under the Bail Reform Act to leave the prison and come home to his family. He's being punished for exercising those rights. We asked the ICE officer what the reason for his detention was. The ICE officer didn't answer. The ICE officer stated that he'll be taken to a detention center. We asked the ICE officer which detention center. The ICE officer said that they weren't able to say. We asked the ICE officer for a copy of any paperwork that's being served on him today. The ICE officer wouldn't commit to even giving us that paperwork. In the last 5 minutes, Mr. Abrego Garcia has filed a new lawsuit in the Federal District Court for the District of Maryland, challenging his current confinement and challenging deportation to Uganda or to any other country unless and until he's had a fair trial as in an immigration court, as well as his full appeal rights. In 2019, Mr. Abrego Garcia had a full trial. It lasted over 2 days in this building behind me. And the result of that trial was that the judge entered an order that he could not be deported to El Salvador. That order was not even appealed by the government. If they want to deport him to any other country, they need to go through that exact same process.
Free Kilmar!
Unless and until they have gone through that process, they do not have the right to put him on an airplane. And that's what we're going to be asking the district court to ensure, that he is not put on any flight to any country whatsoever, whether it's Uganda, South Sudan, what have you, unless and until he has had a full and fair trial in an immigration court, as well as his full appeal rights. So he's filed a lawsuit seeking to ensure that he is not removed from the United States pending his immigration proceedings. We'll certainly be advising you as to the progress of that lawsuit. The courthouse isn't even open for the day yet. But other than that, his family was, and he was exceedingly grateful to see the tremendous amount of support today and over the weekend. This is a person who didn't even know that he had anyone looking out for him, much less the entire nation, for the 3 months that he was detained in El Salvador. This is a person who, feared that the world had forgotten about him. And so you can imagine how much it filled his heart to learn that not only was it not true that the world had forgotten about him, but that the whole world was behind him and was marching and raising their voices and raising their fists to support him. Has filled his heart throughout these past months. let me repeat that in Spanish. El día de hoy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia fue detenido por ICE. Lo habían dado un citatorio para que llegara el día de hoy a las 8 de la mañana, supuestamente para una entrevista. Eso obviamente fue mentira. Lo detuvieron inmediatamente que llegó al sexto piso. Les preguntamos cuál fue la razón de la detención, no lo contestaron. Les preguntamos en dónde lo van a detener, no nos contestaron. Les pedimos una copia de cualquier documentación que lo van a entregar y ni siquiera se comprometieron a esto. Entonces, el día de hoy, hace 5 minutos, Kilmar Abrego García sometió una nueva demanda en la Corte Federal en Maryland, exigiendo que no lo deporten a ningún país, ni Uganda, ni el sur de Sudán, ni ningún país, sin que él tenga el derecho de un juicio ante un juez de inmigración y todos sus derechos de apelar. En el 2019, en este edificio detrás de mí, él tuvo un juicio, duró 2 días completos ante un juez de inmigración y al final de este juicio, el juez de inmigración le otorgó protección de deportación al país de El Salvador. Y el gobierno ni siquiera apeló este fallo, lo dejaron finalizado. Si lo quieren deportar a cualquier otro país, tiene el mismo derecho de un juicio completo ante un juez de inmigración. Y lo que estamos exigiendo en la nueva demanda es que no lo deporten sin que este debido proceso tenga lugar, básicamente. Entonces, acuérdense que estamos hablando de un individuo que mientras estaba en el SECOT, él tenía miedo de que el mundo se lo había olvidado. No sabía de que todo el mundo estaba luchando, marchando, alzando la voz por él. Y imagínense entonces cómo le llegó el corazón de alegría al enterarse de que no era cierto de que el mundo lo había olvidado, al contrario, que el mundo lo estaba respaldando y luchando por él. Entonces, es muy importante que en esta nueva fase de esta lucha, que nosotros siempre estamos alzando la voz para que él lo sienta, para que él lo escucha, de donde quiera que sea que él va a caer esta noche. No sabemos ni en cuál estado va a ser, pero en donde sea, que la bulla que nosotros hagamos sea tan fuerte que lo escucha desde cualquier centro de detención que lo van a mandar ahorita.
¡Todos, Kilmar! We are all Kilmar! We are all Kilmar!
Compañeros, antes de cerrar, quiero pedirles algo. Before we close, I want to ask you one thing. If everybody could kneel. Si todos pueden arrodillarse en una rodilla. ¿Y por qué les pregunto que se arrodillen? Porque no nos podemos continuar a parar viendo esta injusticia que continúa a pasar en el país que llamamos hogar. And why do I tell you to kneel? Because we cannot continue to stand in a country where we call our home and we see our people being inhumanely tortured. As you kneel and reflect on what happened to Kilmar today, I want you to put your left fist in the air and remember the promise that you made him before he walked into the courtroom. Mientras estás en una rodilla, quiero que pongas un puño izquierdo al aire y firmemente reflexiones y recuerdas la promesa que le hiciste a Kilmar antes que entró a ICE. As ICE officials ripped him away from his family, mientras los oficiales lo arrancaron de su familia, Jennifer firmemente los vio a los ojos y les dijo que recuerden este momento cuando lleguen a sus casas con sus hijos. Secuestraron de nuevo a mi esposo. Jennifer firmly looked at the officers in the face, said, remember this moment when you go home and see your kids. You have once again kidnapped my husband. Y mientras reflexionamos, compañeros, Kilmar les trajo el mensaje a todos ustedes que no olviden su promesa. And as we reflect, Kilmar let us know to remember his promise. that commitment to keep fighting, not just for him, but for everybody who continues to be treated inhumanely. Que continuemos a luchar, no solamente por él, pero para todas las personas que todavía siguen siendo tratados injustamente y demandan libertad. For those who continue to demand liberation, like Kilmar is now, we are here with you, right here, right now, and always. Repeat after me. We are here with you, right here, right now, and always. Estamos contigo, aquí, ahora y siempre. Y esta lucha no se acaba hoy, sino esta lucha sigue y sigue y sigue. And this fight does not end today. It will continue on and on and on. Si se puede, mi gente? Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
I've been taking questions.
Abogado, ¿cómo describe?
The administration had offered a plea deal. Has that been rejected? Is that on the table? And what are they suggesting will happen next in terms of potentially implications for Uganda?
So I don't represent him in his criminal matters. Whether the plea deal is off the table or not, you'd have to address that to his criminal defense attorney. But the fact that they're holding, Costa Rica as a carrot and using Uganda as a stick to try to coerce him to plead guilty to a crime is such clear evidence that they're weaponizing the immigration system in a manner that is completely unconstitutional, and specifically weaponizing the decision of which country they send him to. If their stated goal is to get him out of the country as quickly as possible, there's already a country that has offered him refugee status, that has committed itself not to redeport him to El Salvador, and that he has stated that he is willing to accept, right? Instead, they're going to play games with his life and keep him detained for, God knows how long, to fight a fight over whether he can be deported to Uganda or not. So, they didn't get what they wanted, which is to keep him locked up in Tennessee under criminal proceedings. And so instead, they've designated removal to a country that they know that he's going to oppose. They know that he's going to ask for legal proceedings against deportation to Uganda, right? It really is very clear that the government is far more interested in throwing around their weight and demonstrating what they think is their power to do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whoever they want. That's clearly far more important to them than any particular outcome in this case.
Simon, is Costa Rica still an option?
As was explained in the filing in the Tennessee case on Saturday morning, Mr. Abrego Garcia stated that he was willing to accept refugee status in Costa Rica.
¿Puede ser eso en español?
Tal como se dijo en el expediente que se sometió el sábado en el caso criminal, el señor Abrego García ya afirmó que está dispuesto de aceptar la oferta de estatus refugiado en Costa Rica, pero el hecho de que están utilizando la amenaza de deportarlo a África, a Uganda, a donde sea, y que lo van a querer mantener detenido bajo condiciones terribles de los centros de detención de ICE, mientras él pelea en contra de esto, mientras hay una opción de llevarlo, si lo que quieren es sacarlo del país, eso pueden efectuar mañana a Costa Rica, pero eso hace muy claro de que están utilizando el sistema migratorio y la detención de ICE para castigarlo de una manera que no pudieron hacer en Tennessee.
Simon, did you expect today's outcome to happen?
Sadly to say, I would say yes, I did expect today's outcome. There's no reason for ICE to detain him. They don't have present legal authority to remove him to Uganda because he's requested a reasonable fear interview. He has the right to court proceedings, right? And he was already on electronic monitoring and essentially home confinement through the U.S. Marshal Service. So there's no reason for them to detain him. But did I expect them to detain him? Yes, I did. The Baltimore ICE office has been notorious. Even now, with ICE all across the country out of control, the Baltimore ICE office, since February, has been one of the worst in the nation of, people coming into this building through the front door and being taken out by the back door, including people who've been, on annual check-in schedules for years and years and years with no problems whatsoever. The Baltimore ICE office has really been one of the worst in the whole country about taking people into detention for no reason.
What was this weekend like for Kilmar and his family?
I can't really speak to that. I mean, I'll speak to the legal case. I'm sure there's other.
¿Cómo le hace sentir esta situación? ¿Cómo lo describe?
Es increíble que han decidido utilizar este caso, este individuo que nunca pidió nada de esto, nunca hizo nada para que todo esto le cayera encima. Y no lo van a dejar tranquilo nunca. Realmente es tremendo. Yeah, so the lawsuit that was filed this morning is asking for an order that he not be allowed to be removed from the United States unless and until he's had full due process as to claim for protection to any particular country that they want to name. Right now it's Uganda. Tomorrow it might be, who knows, right? The main issue, aside from just the conditions in the country, is that country going to actually let him stay there, right? I mean, they can offer to send him to Madrid, Spain, and unless Madrid, Spain is going to let him remain in that country, essentially all it is just a very inconvenient layover on the way to El Salvador, right? Which is the one country that it's already been determined that he can't be sent to, right? So our contention is that they can't send him to any one of the other 200 countries on earth unless that country is given credible assurances that he'll be allowed to have a legal status, such as Costa Rica has already done, right? Costa Rica has already offered refugee status. The suit was filed by Maria Osorio PLLC and the law firm of Quinn Emanuel.
If the lawsuit wasn't filed, could ICE have already started to deport him or?
Well, in the prior lawsuit, Judge Zinnes had ordered 72 hours, not including weekends. So I have. It's hard to trust them. As an immigration lawyer who's been practicing for 18 years, it seems to me obvious that when someone has requested a reasonable fear interview, that interview must take place before the person, and then there must be proceedings before the immigration judge and all the appeals. One shouldn't have to file a lawsuit to make it clear that you can't be deported to any particular country unless and until the legal proceedings have actually concluded. But we are where we are, and so that's why we felt the need to file that lawsuit this morning. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
¡Todos somos Kilmar! ¡Todos somos Kilmar!